Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Counter-Strike video. Alright, I hope you guys are enjoying Counter-Strike global version so far. If you guys just discovered my channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications as well because I plan to release more Counter-Strike guides in the upcoming days. Feel free to let me know in the comment section below what specific topic would you guys like me to cover in Counter-Strike. So with that being said, enjoy the video. Alright, so let's talk about the low rarities, the SR, the Rs, the Ns. Which one should you focus on building if there's any at all? So I'm going to try to cover as many of those in this video. Now keep in mind, my advice is going to be a bit different based on players that play last year on C server, because on C server there's more time to build characters and it's going to be less rush. Global is going to be slightly rush based on the roadmap etc, and awaken units are already here. So a lot of the N units, the R units, you might not need to build them at all compared to when you play back then in C, because some of them you will need to build to fill certain roles or certain purposes in certain scenarios. Alright, so with that being said, let's first talk about the lowest rarity in the game, the N characters. Now I'll be honest with you guys, none of these characters are worth building at all. Like this guy is not worth building because there's a similar rarity of soldier in terms of SR, which is admin rifleman. You get that guy already right now in global launch. Nina Anderson is not worth building at all. None of these characters are actually worth building. But that's not to say that all of them are completely useless. Like some of them can still be used in PvP. For example, Adamant Sniper. She might actually be one of the better ones. It's a she, by the way. Alright, she has the ability to push back characters with her passive skill, the knockback if you skill this up to level 5, and she is actually decently good at that. But the thing is, in most PvE stages, you are probably not going to use her at all because Xiaolin is accessible to you, and probably there's a lot of other snipers that have much better output damage in terms of using her. So you might be able to use her in PvP in some scenarios, in certain cases, some soldier teams. But other than that, you know, that's going to depend on you. If you plan to run soldier teams, yes, she's quite crucial right there and she's definitely usable. Now, I did build Sparrow myself because Sparrow is one of the better rangers that you get. But again, if you have admin rifleman, which is the SR, you're probably not going to use this guy. And yeah, it's just like a short-term build him for now because I don't have any better rangers. But as like I mentioned, a lot of these N characters, I don't think any of these are worth building. So if you want to discard all of them, feel free. The notable ones are probably Adamant Sniper, Sparrow, maybe KT Wade to a certain extent. She sort of can buff your units. She has the ability right here on this passive skill where she can increase surrounding ranges attack speed by 10%. And that's about it. Probably once you get more SSR supporters, you're going to replace her anyway. But yeah, she's a placeholder for the time being. And also Woodpecker to a certain extent. Now let's move on to the R characters. Now R characters, you're gonna get some units that are much better. Let's start off with Claudia Nelson. I think she's probably one of the better healers in the game. She can be the best healer depending on what team you're running. Alright, so what makes her so good is going to be her passive skill. And if you're skilling her up, make sure you max out her passive skill first. As you can see, she basically upon deployment restores 20% of HP for allies. Alright, this is a lot of HP heal. Now, just by deploying her, you get to restore everyone, makes her insanely good in a lot of team comps. In PvP, in PvE, just upon her deployment, she doesn't have to go front. Even if she dies afterwards, you can get this off easily. 20% heal is insane. So I would highly prioritize on her passive skill if you're skilling her up. She's very good in Replacer King comps and Awaken unit, which you will get way later. But yeah, let's see when will Global get it. So the second best one is probably going to be Ingrid. Now Ingrid is kind of niche in a lot of stages, but she's going to be quite strong in PvP. Why is she good is because she can be deployed anywhere on the map. Alright, so which makes her kind of strong. As you can see, she can be deployed anywhere on the field and can read enemies' movements in advance. Just make her as tanky as you can, distract the enemies. She's strong in PvP. She can also be used in certain PvE stages. So I would say if you can, try to keep a at least one copy of her and try to get her up to 110 via her dupes. Now, Irie wouldn't be that bad either. She is definitely going to be one of the first rearm that you're gonna get. So if you want to build a defender for now, definitely build Irie. But again, Awakened Heal Day is here. Most likely you guys are rerolling for her anyways. And I think she gets replaced by a lot of defenders later on. So for the time being, she's a good placeholder. She's a 2-cost defender. Definitely usable. But I wouldn't prioritize building her right now. She doesn't like do anything that's extraordinary. She does have a push skill though, so this can be quite interesting. Her special skill, which pushes enemies quite far back, that can sort of mess things up in PvP. Other than that, she's a basic unit, you know, don't expect her to be insanely tanky or anything like that. Now, a few notable mentions are probably Cindy Looper. Alright, she's a decent striker and maybe Fionn to a certain extent. But in the C server, like I mentioned, they do get to see some play, but in global servers, since it's so rushed, you're gonna get a lot of units that can do what they do to a certain extent. I feel like you probably won't see these two units being used much, to be honest. Now, Hound is going to be pretty decent if you plan to use a mech comp. Alright, if you plan to use like a mech team fully using a mech ship, this guy, he's not too bad. He's a very good pair with Titan if you plan to do that for the time being. Now, Assault Trooper can be a decent addition right now. He is going to be one of the better rangers in terms of the R-rarity. Probably the best one if you're looking for rangers in R-rarity. Again, this guy is quite unique because he can be deployed anywhere. So he's a forward deployment kind of unit. You can basically deploy him anywhere at the back of the ship. Pretty good PvP unit. In terms of PvE, maybe you'll see some play later on in Danger Close. But for the time being, probably not much. Ironside. So this guy, despite being a soldier, he's a soldier himself, but he's actually the only healer in this game for mech units. So if you plan to build like a mech comp, alright, with Titan, with Hound, you need to use him. Alright, so he restores all max HP by 25% upon deployment. As you can see, this guy is like the mech equivalent of Claudia Nelson. Claudia is for, you know, Claudia is much more general, but this guy only heals mech specifically. So you can still use Claudia in mech comps if you want to, but this guy has 25% compared to Claudia's 20%, and also he increased surrounding max damage resistance by 10%, so that's extra buff is gonna make him kind of strong in mech teams. And yeah, that's about it. The rest of the units, I wouldn't bother putting any resources into them. So with that being said, let's move on into the SR. Now the SR rarity, now we get a lot of cool units moving forward. Alright, there's plenty of strong units. So let's talk from the beginning. Yumina, she's not worth it. Despite her being a main MC, she is just utter... I don't think she's bad if she's a 3-cost unit, but because she's a 4-cost unit, that probably diminished her value. Like, she's just not worth using, like, compared to someone like SSR, Gaeun, etc. Right? She is going to be super underwhelming. I would say, unless she is buff or up in PvP, you will not see her being used at all. Now, Heal Day is going to be kind of strong moving forward. Alright, especially in raids. We already got the raids early on, Britra right now. I would say build her. She has this buff. If you guys are not aware, if you're building her, focus on her passive skill. As you can see, she's going to increase attack by 10% for all counters including herself, and also additional counter crit by 20%. As you can see, she's quite strong in buffing units, so build her for raid purposes. She's going to be quite strong in PvE and maybe in PvP occasionally. Now Shiyun, it's gonna depend. Awakened units are here right now. This guy is very good in countering the enemies. Based on his special skill, he can stun the enemy. If you know how to deploy him again, he can be deployed anywhere, similar to Ingrid, and he's like a counter-based unit. The only difference is right now he's kind of squishy and he doesn't counter Awakened units, alright? He will get destroyed by Awakened unit skills, which kind of sucks, so keep that in mind. He can be quite squishy. If you plan to build him, make sure you know how to use him. Now, Kim Sobin is definitely one of the better units to build. She is insanely strong in PvE. Alright, in terms of output damage, the longer the battle lasts, the more damage she can deliver. Like, I've seen some crazy stats on her. She will be able to perform like insane amount of output damage, even comparable, even better than Gaeun and Kalwong actually. She is much more comparable to Rosaria in where the longer the battle lasts, the more damage she's able to do. So she's very good in raids for that purposes. So make sure you guys start building her right now. She's not that good in PvP though. None of her skill has any like CC, stun, etc. So compared to like Kalwong and Gaeyun where they have like Taunt, Stun. Those are going to be much more utility based, but in PvE she's definitely a beast right now. Alright, so consider building her for sure. Now Lin Xian is going to be an insanely strong character moving forward. Alright, building her, you won't regret this because she has the ability to give deployment cost, and that is quite limited to like a certain few characters. In terms of SR character, she's probably one of the better one. She gives deployment cost. If you guys are not aware, she's a 4 cost unit, but when you deploy her, she gives back 2 cost if you max this skill. That means she's actually only a 2 cost unit, and her ultimate skill is what makes her insanely strong. She will give 4 deployment cost whenever she casts her ultimate skill. Alright, this is what makes her very strong in PvE. In PvP, it depends. She can be used occasionally depending on how you plan to bring out your team, but she's definitely usable there as well. Now Sylvia is going to be quite strong in a lot of mech comps. Again, she is definitely usable, but as a sniper, she probably will fall off later on. For the time being, right now in global launch, I would say she is usable, but only if you get her up to the special skill, increase this to max level 5, because this will be able to stun soldiers and counters as well. But if you don't max out this skill is not that usable because it only stuns mech units, as you can see. So make sure you guys max this skill. Her special skill is very important. Other than that, she does give mech attack, as you can see on her passive skill, so consider recruiting her, putting her in your mech team for that purpose. Next up is Aries. Now Aries, definitely she is one of the better healers. Now Aries is quite unique. What she does is she don't really heal, she also gives shield. Alright, which is, I would say in certain situations she might be better than Evelynn and Clara Nelson in PvE, because the problem with healing is you can't heal past 100%. Once your character has full HP, you cannot heal. But Aries, sort of, you know, she can give you shield above that, which is why in some situations she is really good. As you can see, she will always give you a barrier equal to 15% of max HP. Now she's definitely strong right now, and she's definitely usable, but if you're looking for PvP later on, she will fall off a little bit because of Awaken Ayubin, which has an ability to remove shield and convert that to damage, which is too insane. So Aries is going to get destroyed later on, but for the time being, definitely she's usable, and I would advise still build her because she's still strong in PvE regardless, right? Now Evelynn, in my opinion, is the best healer in the game, so definitely build her. Like, I hope every single one of you have her. Now, why is she the best healer in the game? Similar to Young Harem, she doesn't only heal. A lot of people don't know this, but she is a healer on this passive skill and also on her special skill. But on her ultimate skill, as you can see, she has the ability to buff allies as well. Attack of all allies except herself plus 15%. So she buffs attack by 15% for 15 seconds after she uses her ultimate skill, which is why she is better than Claudia Nelson in my opinion, because Claudia is just purely heal, whereas Evelynn can buff your allies, buff your units as well. So this is very good in a lot of raids, in a lot of PvE stages where you can buff everyone's attack, and it just gives them that super kick in terms of the attack boost. So consider building her. I will prioritize, if you guys can only choose one healer, definitely skill her up first. Now Eddie Fisher, somebody that you get for free anyways, you're going to farm him in the side story and you will be able to get him regardless, so I would say build him. He's good in soldier teams. And talking about soldier, Admin Rifleman. Now this guy is a monster, alright? Please, if you can get him, he's the best SR in the game, period. Alright, so I already explained this during my live stream earlier. He is stronger than Gaeyun, he's stronger than Kalwong if you're looking at raw damage. Alright, just pure raw damage, he is stronger than all the other SSR rangers right now. So you can ask any veteran players that be playing in KR, playing in C. The reason why is because he's much more of an attack speed based, attack speed monster. And if you're looking for like raw damage, raw power, he will deliver that for you. If you have the gear for this guy will use a soldier gear, you will understand where I'm coming from. His output damage is just insane, alright? So even, probably even comparable to Kim Sobin, and considering that Kim Sobin is a 4 cost unit and this guy is a 2 cost unit, that's just insane, alright? Best ranger in the game. Alright, now Admin Shieldman is a bit of a different story. I would say this probably is the best SR defender right now. Alright, so the reason why I said don't build this guy is because this guy is just better. I would say if you have an option or access to this guy, somehow you get him in the lucky pool, consider building him. if you don't have Awakened Heal Day, he can be a good substitute, alright, in certain stages where you need like someone to tank for you. Probably one of the better SR defenders out now. Now Choi Ina is also someone that you should build. Consider keeping one copy of her, and she is good because she also gives deployment resource in return, similar to how Lin Xian works, alright. So different character altogether though, because Lin Xian is a striker and she is a tower unit. So basically she will only stay near your base and she will give you the ability to gather more deployment resource based on that. And with that being said, those are all the characters for SR, alright, that are worth building. Now obviously, like I mentioned, this is just like a priority list. Ideally you want to have one copy of every character in the future, right? Because there are definitely going to be some niche cases where you can use some of them. For example, like Buzzard right here, this is a max sniper, obviously very niche, but in the future I can see like if you don't have much flying units, you will be able to benefit from this guy as well. So yeah, this is going to be much more of a priority list, like in terms of which characters to build first. You still want to build one copy of each, preferably in the future. You don't know if they are going to rework some of these units and make them stronger than they are right now, so there's a chance of that. For example, Laura, he will get a rearm really soon, so consider keeping one copy of each if you can. So yeah, with that being said, that's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you guys have any specific video that you want me to do, let me know in the comments as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Have a nice day. Goodbye.